Hey, what's up everybody? Chase here at Rocky Mountain. Thank you for checking in. We're out here at Glen Helen today, and by a miracle, it is raining. But I've got my 2021 CRF450R. Now, when I first got this bike, we did kind of an initial build on it. And for all of 2021, I was hurt. I had a pretty bad knee injury. I had shoulder surgery, so I didn't get to put a lot of time on this bike. But now, 2022, I've got about 50 hours on it. So there's some stuff on this bike that I've added that I just want to tell you guys about and kind of let you know about a few tips and tricks about the Honda specifically that I've kind of figured out. So first things first, when we first got this bike, we did the Race Tech suspension, which is great because we have a how-to video. So if you want to redo your valving, we have a video that shows you how to do that. And you buy the gold valve kit, you can do your own suspension from home, saves you a lot of money. But with the Honda specifically, I've been running about 103 to 105 millimeters of sag. And a little tip that I have for you guys is that if your bike, if you feel like the shock's kind of harsh, a lot of riders are kind of afraid to adjust their high-speed compression. But what I found is that only coming out about 1.25 to 1.5 turns really help give just a more supple, just more comfortable feel with the rear shock. So that's something that I would definitely try out if you're kind of feeling that with your bike. But aside from that, so when I first got this, another thing I would say is I got the Hinson clutch setup inside here, full Hinson clutch, all billet, durability, you can't beat it. But one thing I noticed with this clutch is that with the Hinson springs that were stiffer than the OEM springs, I just felt like it made the clutch a little bit too grabby. And so it just kind of made the bike feel herky-jerky, not very smooth as I was trying to use the clutch coming out of corners. So if you have a full Hinson clutch setup and you feel like your clutch is a little jerky, go back to the OEM springs. I put the OEM springs back in, they're a little bit softer. That actually helped give a much smoother feel with that clutch. On top of that, speaking of the clutch, I've got the ASV F4 clutch lever on here. I tried a few different clutch levers on this bike. I tried the ARC lever to match my brake lever. I wasn't the biggest fan of the bend on that one, but I found the F4, and this is a bend that I actually really like. It's very comfortable for me. And something that I noticed with this lever that I like is that it makes the clutch pull a little bit easier. So the leverage curve that this lever has just makes the clutch feel a little bit easier, a little bit smoother. So if you're looking at brake and clutch levers, I've got the ARC brake lever, which I really like, and then I've got that ASV F4 lever for the clutch side, which is great. Another upgrade that I added to this bike is radiator braces. So I had a crash last year. I hadn't had the bike that long, and I bent my left radiator pretty good on just a pretty simple crash, really. And so Works Connection makes these. There's a black version or a silver version, and they just reinforces your radiator. So if you do have a crash or a tip over, you don't have to worry about bending or breaking those nearly as easily. That is an upgrade that I would say any rider should make on their bike. Another big one too is you notice I got the Ride Engineering billet split triple clamps on here. So Adrian sent me these just to try out. And what's different about these clamps is that they're a 23.5 degree offset versus 22, which comes stock. Some people kind of talk about the Hondas being a little bit nervous, a little bit twitchy up front. So I would say if you have the newer generation Honda and you feel like it's a little nervous, these will help calm that down. They're just a little bit longer with the offset, and so it makes the bike feel a little bit more stable. So at higher speeds and things like that, you're not as nervous with the bike. I also like too that it's a new split design, and they're just there to try and give as much comfort as possible. To be totally honest, I don't really notice much of a feel difference between these and the stock clamps, but what has been nice about these is that I haven't gotten a nervous feeling with this Honda. I've actually done some off-road races, high speed, lots of bumps. And so these clamps, if you can, fork out the cash, they don't affect the handling. The bike still corners just as good what it does with the stock clamps, but it just adds more stability. So that's another upgrade that is definitely worth checking out. And then last but not least, just kind of looking at it, a few extra protection accessories. I've got this Tusk little rear brake caliper guard on here. So I actually broke the stock one. Just goes to show you, your rear caliper, it's pretty exposed. I did that during a race where I got together with another rider. So that's a good little protection bit. And then also last thing, this Attack Graphics Work seat cover. I don't like OEM seat covers for the most part. They're pretty slippery, and especially after you get some hours on them, they get even more slippery. This new Work seat cover has a much grippier rubber, and they're affordable. So this is one of those things where if you feel like you're sliding on the bike, you want to have a more planted feel, this seat cover is an awesome value, and it's got a nice grippy rubber material. It's easy to put on because it's got a lot of stretch to it. So definitely if you want to see if we have one of these for your bike, just enter the year, make, and model on the product page, and that will ensure that you will get the right fitment. But like I said, I've had this bike now for a few years, put a lot of hours on it. Reliability's been awesome. I've just changed the oil, done my air filters like you're supposed to, and aside from that, I've had zero issues. So yeah, if you have the 2021 or newer Honda, Those are some of the upgrades that I've added on since I got it. You can go watch that original build video where we go a little bit more in depth with the suspension, some other things, but overall, it's been a killer bike. If you guys have questions, if you want some more of my feedback, I'd love to give that to you. So leave your questions or comments down below. And then click on the link or just head to RockyMountain-ATVMC.com to see all the parts that I have on this bike. Or you can just go to our homepage, enter the year, make a model of any bike that you have, and you'll see all the parts that will fit your exact bike. If you like this video, get subscribed to the Rocky Mountain YouTube channel, hit that notification bell, and that way you'll always stay up to date on videos and builds just like this. I'm Chase, see you on the trails.